Hi there, my name's Quentin, and welcome to my Python terminal application presentation. Um, Please forgive the mess in the background. We just moved house about a month and a half ago and clearly haven't finished unpacking and probably won't finish unpacking for another 5 to 10 to 20 years. Anyway, the idea for my application was to create a quiz um, where the user has to guess the name of a randomly selected country from this year's World Cup um, using hints that have been scraped from either the country's Wikipedia page or flag color hex codes from the country's page on a site called flagcolorcodes.com, I think. Um, uh, yeah, I had been getting into web scraping, and I like the World Cup, and so I thought that would be fun to integrate together. So I figured what we'll do is look at a few basic slides about the structure and the features. Then we'll jump to a live preview, and then back to the slides. So the main structure that we'll see when we look at the app is there's a main menu, there's a quiz game, which is the meaty part of the app, meatiest part of the app anyway, which has its own loop, and that gives you the option to play again or jump back to the main menu, and you can show high scores, show unstructured so countries. Um, the main features of the app are the main menu, the quiz game hint system, which we'll see. Um, the hints themselves, each one was a pretty decent challenge. There's a random sentence, a fact, both of which are from Wikipedia. Um, the text itself can be colored based on the flag colors that are scraped, as I mentioned previously, and then there's a high score system which writes to and reads from a CSV file. So let's jump over to the app and give it a go. The app can be run with a bash script called run. It has a few flags we'll see in a bit, but let's just jump right in. There's a little introductory animation. Let's make this a bit bigger. Um, and which was quite fun to make. Learned how to do some terminal text colors. So let's show some of the slightly easier things first. We'll show some high scores. There's some dummy data in a CSV file just to populate it for testing, and so you don't have to start from scratch. We can see that's printed out nicely with a package called Tabulate. Um, there's quiz instructions, which maybe that's a bit too big, which we won't go through now because I'll explain it as we go. And lastly, you can display a list of the countries because who can remember all 32? All right, let's dive into the game. If I choose one, you'll notice that little pause because it is live scraping the information. It hasn't all been scraped previously. I thought it'd be better to live scrape it. Even though it's a little slower, it means that if any of the data changes in the future, it'll be relevant and correct. So we have 6 guesses. Each guess, you're given a choice of 3 different types of hints. The first, you can see, is a random sentence. Let's pick that. And we're given a random sentence from the first 2 paragraphs of the country's Wikipedia page. Let's guess wrong and pick another random sentence because I just want to see if I can demonstrate something. Nope, we got the same random sentence. Here we go. I've also used a few regular expressions to clean up the sentence that we get back. First, it will remove any footnotes in brackets and any parentheses because there was a lot of stuff in the text of the HTML that was just kind of ugly and unnecessary, so I removed those. And then you'll also see here I've redacted any word that has the first 4 letters or the last 4 letters of the country's name. I've replaced those with underscores, obviously, because that would make it too easy if the name was just in the sentence. let's get it wrong again, and let's choose a different one. Fact will give you, this is an odd one, but will give you a random fact, not a random fact, sorry. The facts follow the order. Let's choose another fact. They go anthem, president or prime minister, depending on which one there is. In this case, it's Macky Sall, okay? And then currency, and then capital. So I increase the helpfulness as the facts go on, right? The more you choose. Let's also, might as well show that now. If we type show, it will, again, give us a list of countries rather than having to scroll all the way up. You can just show it again, and it gives you the option to do it again. Let's get it wrong. And we ran out of guesses. Yeah, we had one guess left, and we got it wrong. The correct answer was Senegal. Well, that's why we didn't know. Let's play again. Actually, let's not play again because I want to demonstrate something. Let's now run it, but let's add 2 flags. First of all, no intro. We'll skip the introductory animation because who has time? And let's also show the correct country for debugging purposes. So let's play the quiz again. The correct answer will be Croatia. That helps us know. Let's choose a flag color text. So each time we choose flag color text, the remaining text will be colored, sort of looping through the colors of the flag. So these are all colors of the Croatian flag. Who knew? And we should reach the end. Okay, there's a lot of colors. If you choose too many, which we haven't, okay, well, Croatia has a lot of flag colors, but if you choose the option too many times, it'll say you can't do that again. Let's play it correctly, and let's actually get it right. So the correct option is Poland. Let's guess Poland. And hooray! I need to make this prettier, but we got it right. And we have a, let's not play again, and let's show the high scores. And we should have, there we are. We guessed it in one guess, and it took us 8.19 seconds. I also kept track of how long it took from the start of each country's game to when you get it right. And yeah, that was a super fast overview of the game. Okay, back to the slides. So a lot of the time taken with this project was actually preparation, just learning a lot. Had never done web scraping before, so I watched a lot of tutorials on how to use Beautiful Soup, a very popular web scraping library for Python. Refreshed some regular expression knowledge, which I learned maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it's hard to remember the syntax of regular expressions, of course. Man, those are powerful. Learned how to do CSV reading and writing, and JSON reading and writing from the Ed tutorials, and then some other stuff on YouTube as well. And learned how to color terminal text and do some simple terminal text animations. Coloring was done with a package called COLR, color, because it's the only one I could find that would actually let you to do RGB and hex codes, which I needed to do. Cool. Then implementing it was obviously the next step. Challenges, I wanted to use an API as well, but I couldn't find a good free one for fun country facts. Scraping from Wikipedia was surprisingly difficult because some countries actually just used a different HTML structure. You'd think that the pages would be consistent, but every now and then there were these edge cases where they just had a different structure. As the project scaled, I would have probably refactored to use classes and split the code up into multiple files. And there were a few features, of course, that I sort of tried to do but couldn't get working, and spent far too long trying those. 10 minutes is up. but I will just quickly talk about the ethical issues. Web scraping, of course, is kind of a bit of a minefield. Like you don't want to scrape things that are private or anything that maybe the owner wouldn't want scraped or made publicly available. That's kind of a gray area. And if you're crawling through a website and scraping too many links, you at least want to leave a delay between requests, so as not to overload a server. So there's etiquette involved with web scraping, as I have learned. Favorite parts were the flag data. I mean, there's a lot of favorite parts. I love learning everything, but uh, I was going to actually just write out the hex codes in a separate JSON file and then realized that I could actually use the web scraping techniques that I had been learning to write a script that would just do it for me. Strange that that would only occur to me later on, but I'm using scraping for maybe its intended purpose, which is to make that process faster than typing everything out and doing it the tedious way. I just scraped it. And then, of course, watching people play it was always fun. And I think that's probably enough. Thank you, and goodbye.